Story 1. Am I the a-hole for not liking how my girlfriend dresses for work? So I, 43 male, don't think I'm in the wrong here. But my mother is very angry at me, and my best friend said I was a horrible person for saying what I did, and I'd be lucky if my girlfriend didn't put me out with the garbage since I decided I wanted to act like trash. My girlfriend, 34 female, is a preschool teacher, and for some reason I can't explain why, she dresses like Ms. Frizzle, like a dress with the pattern of whatever they're studying. She makes a lot of them herself, now including matching masks. The kids love it, and the parents seem to think it's great. I don't like the amount of attention she gets, honestly. I'd prefer if she came home and changed before running any errands. On Friday, she helped my mom with something after work, and she was still in her weird dress. I've told her before that I don't like when she dresses that way, but she tells me I don't have to like it, but I have no right to tell her how to dress. I was upset she went out like that with my mother and told her that my mom said she was embarrassed and to ask that she please not dress like that again if they're going out. I was not expecting her to call my mom and apologize. When my mom asked what she meant, she told her what I said. My mom was furious, explained she doesn't have a problem with how my girlfriend dresses and thinks it's great she spends extra time doing things to engage her students. My mom then yelled at me for lying to my girlfriend and trying to throw her under the bus because I was being an insecure jerk. My girlfriend and I got into a huge fight. I said she should be embarrassed to be seen in public like that. She said the only thing she was embarrassed by was me. She hasn't spoken to me or done anything for me since. My friend said I was horrible and called me trash. I shouldn't have lied, but I think my girlfriend should take what I think about her clothes into consideration, and I'm not sorry for expecting her to dress more appropriately in public. Am I really such an a-hole here? Yes! When I saw this, I thought it was going to be a teacher dressing like inappropriately, like it was like the dresses were like making people uncomfortable, like they were too skimpy or something. But she's dressing in a way that makes that makes the kids excited to learn. And I don't think it would be something that would be that would be inappropriate going out just to run some errands. I mean, yes, you are an a-hole. Completely. 100%. Grade A butt. Story 2. Boss wants to cut off all employees and workers from their email access over the weekend, but doesn't understand the consequence. The story starts with me and my company. I'm a 30-year-old businesswoman who works in an IT service in a bank space. I'm the girl for everything, basically, but I'm a specialist for first-level support, administration and backup, sometimes even networking. Even when I'm not head of my IT department, I basically have all the responsibilities. But unfortunately, my pay grade doesn't reflect that at all. I think of my boss of my IT department as kind of lazy, if not incompetent. He even brags about getting so much money for basically doing nothing. I have a 40-hour week, but since the whole IT department is my responsibility, I need to keep track of the servers and maybe problems that can occur 24/7. This is mostly done via emails. When the server status gives out a warning or a failure, I will get notified, and then I'm fixing the problem over a remote desktop or going to the company itself, even in my free time. And I wouldn't mind this, but I'm not getting paid for this. But on the other hand, I'm getting punished when something's going wrong. My boss's boss wasn't that much better. Since it was a fancy bank, everyone should be in a suit the whole time, to let it look professional, best with a skirt and high heels. Only problem is, when you work in the first-level support, you need to do a lot of behind-the-scenes work, like slipping under the desk to do or repair cable management, doing work on the server rack, and doing lots of other activities that make you dirty. You can imagine that this wore out my business clothes really, really fast, and not only that, they were so impractical and really made my work harder. So I changed my clothes to a comfy hoodie and work pants to fit the work I'm doing a bit better. When my boss saw me, He was furious, demanding I can't look like a poor hobo inside his bank. I told him that I demand work clothes for both occasions because they're expensive and get worn out quickly. He refused, and I wasn't really happy about this. So much for the introduction. One day, my boss's boss, the head of the whole company, called me. He had a plan. He wanted to create quiet hours, meaning he didn't want his employees working on weekends to let them rest properly. At first glance, you could say, hey, that's a nice idea. Yeah, no, he just didn't like to pay them for overwork because he got in some legal trouble with overwork paying in general. Not only that, some employees had strict deadlines and needed the extra time to get work done. To actively ensure nobody can work over the weekend, he wanted the following. Please make sure no one can access their emails and remote desktop over the weekend. No exceptions. Since we had a ticket system and were able to attach emails to tickets, I asked him to write an office work task. This has two reasons. First, I like everything documented. Second, I have something to protect and secure myself if the task I was given is incorrect. And it's exactly this that saved me. So I was at my office desk thinking how to get this task done and what implications it would have, and then it was clear to me what it meant. The email came from my boss with the task, and indeed, he wrote, for everyone, no exceptions. I was thinking to myself, should I write them? The implications it would have? After thinking, I thought about how I'm treated as a worker, and I decided against it. I was working immediately at this task and made an automated process to block every access to emails after Friday 6 p.m. to Monday 6 a.m. Weekend came, and it was a Saturday, and I was calm and relaxed because if you haven't noticed by now, by cutting down everyone's emails, it means, of course, that I don't receive any updates on the servers. I can't possibly work on it because my remote access is also cut, of course. If you think you could forward your work email to your private address, no, I can't because we have a very strict data protection. Nothing is allowed to go out. I'm happy. It's still Saturday. In the middle of the day, I'm cooking myself and my husband a nice meal, and my telephone rings. It's my boss's boss. He talks with a stressed voice and told me that he can't access his emails. I needed a second to process this, but I respond, that doesn't surprise me at all, since you ordered me to cut everyone's email access, without exceptions. He was angry, very angry, and told me that this obviously doesn't count for him. I told him that he specifically told me that there are no exceptions, and he stated everyone. He then argued that this wasn't how he phrased it, so I reread him his own email. After that, he was silent for a moment. He noticed a flaw in his logic. I broke the silence and asked him, Sir, if you still want access to your emails on the weekend, that's no problem. Please send me a request per email, and I work on it the first thing on Monday. A bit angry again, he replied that he wants to have it done immediately, and I calmly explained to him that I can't do this, since my remote access is also blocked, like he ordered. He hung up. 10 minutes later, he called me again. He asked me calmly if I can fix the problem right now when he pays me for my overwork. He also wants me to be available at any time, meaning I should receive my emails and be able to remote work, and that this will raise my pay grade by a lot. I thought that this was the perfect opportunity. I agreed to that condition and pay raise, but only when my coworkers and I finally get work clothes. He agreed. Since then, my work situation drastically improved, and mostly only because I maliciously complied, well aware of the consequence of the given task. Way to go and way to play it. Way to give everyone, way to win something for your colleagues, not just for yourself. I'm glad this person got a real bump in pay, something that this person was excited about and would be able to accept. I'm really happy about that. And she was thinking of others too. That's really nice. But yep, it's that malicious compliance that will make people realize how important certain people are, the ones that they treat not so well.
Please like and subscribe if you made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day.
Story 3. Me and my babies need to use your pool. I don't want them swimming at the community center with the N-words. Oh my goodness, my script says N-words. Oh, strap in, folks. Okay, backstory. This happened in 1965, just for some clarification. I was 26 then, 81 now. I had a pool party yesterday and thought about the run that I had. So in my old neighborhood, my wife and I rented a home in a community of around 23 houses. Out of the 23 homes, we were 1 out of 7 with a pool, because the previous owner ordered a pool when he had the house built. Adding a pool was around a $2,000 option, so many people didn't get it. Because I had a pool, a lot of people would try to come over to swim. Now, I was quite generous with my pool if people called first. Now, understandably, some weekends I wanted some peace and quiet. A new family had moved in to the left of me, and they heard that I was generous with my pool. So the mom and her 3 kids just came over in swimsuits and asked to use my pool. I said that I was tired and next weekend they could swim, just not right now. I told her that she and her kids could go to the community center. She and her kids could have gotten in for around 25 cents around that time. She said, "Oh, come on, I don't want to drive all that way, 3 miles. Plus, I don't want my babies in that water with all those N-word people." Okay, swear on my script, this time the N-word is actually spelled out. Trust me, there's no way I'm saying it. No way. No, thank you. Me. I'm sorry. I just got off a 60-hour week, and I don't want to have people over. Sorry. Due to her racist attitude, I didn't want her in my home, so I was very dismissive about her using my pool. Entitled mom. Come on. My babies are hot and need to cool off. Just let us swim for an hour and we'll leave. I don't want them in that nasty pool. Just be a good neighbor. Me. No, I'm sorry. She then whispers something to her kids, and then they proceed to beg to use my pool. I just close the door on her. A few hours later, I hear my dog barking and people screaming. I looked out the window, and the mom and her kids hopped my fence to gain access to my pool, and they were being cornered by my dog, Cupcake. The Cupcake was a big pit bull, but she was a sweetie, always defending me and my property. I take the family out of my yard and tell them that if they come on my property again, I would call the police. She also did try to gain access to the other neighbors' pools and was promptly banned from there as well. 1965. Why does this sound like it could happen today? Why? I mean, 1965, that is quite literally before my time. Literally. And my goodness, this is so awful. And again, why does it sound like it could happen today? Why? Story 4. My mom wants to have me repossessed from college and taken home by force over state lines. Can she do that? For some backstory, my mom is a very controlling and rather horrible person. She has absolutely no tolerance for my sense of privacy, and it's gotten worse since I've moved out for college. She demands access to absolutely everything I have. This will be important later. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a college freshman. I go to college in Colorado, but I was born and raised in Nebraska. In Nebraska, you aren't a legal adult until you're 19 years old. It was hell just convincing her to let me go to college. And it was much harder convincing her to let me go to college out of state. Like I said earlier, my mom is incredibly controlling and she hates it when I do things that are outside of her reach. My mom demands my passwords for everything she knows about. Email, WhatsApp, Facebook, even though I haven't used it in years. Twitter, again, relatively unused, but she always checks it and bugs me about random stuff that shows up on my timeline. You name it. She'll demand the password for it and threaten me with grounding and a good spanking if I don't give it to her. In the past, I've rolled over and taken it. It was a survival mechanism more than anything. If I'd stood up to her then, there's no way she would have let me go to college. She justifies this by claiming that because I have autism, I can't tell what's right and wrong and need to be monitored. About a month ago, I changed all my passwords. Sure enough, literally less than 2 hours later, my mom texts me telling me that I need to give her my new passwords. I tell her no. This is when the trouble begins. Over the course of the past month, she's gotten very difficult and agitated with me, and tried to guilt me into giving her my passwords. She's tried to force her way into the accounts with no success. Although in the last week, things have gotten even worse. A week ago, she showed up here, and I had to have her escorted out by campus police after a brief verbal altercation. That ticked her off a bunch. Recently, though, as in last night, I was on a phone call with her, and she told me that she would have me repossessed by the goons. I asked her to clarify, and she said that because I'm still a minor in Nebraska and I'm a resident of Nebraska, I have to abide by Nebraska's laws, and as such, I'm still a minor and she can do that. I wished her good luck with that endeavor, trying to act like I wasn't absolutely terrified, seeing as I've been gooned. Read taken by force to a psych ward before. It's not nice. I do not want to be gooned and taken home. I don't want to face my mother again. So the question is this: can she do that? Is the Fugitive Slave Act not dead after all? Does my having autism change the circumstances? If all else fails, what can I do to protect myself? I wish I knew. That's awful. This person sounds like they have enough sense to live by themselves, to be able to live on their own, but I don't know. I mean, you're at a college. There's counselors, teachers, admin. Talk to anybody. They're a legal department. Talk to them. Talk to someone that teaches law. Talk to anyone you can think of. Talk to the police. Try to get something straightened out. And I know there will be some people that will offer comments here, but just, yeah, listen around you. Reach out to who you can. Story 5. I'll let you know every time I use my garbage can. I've never met anyone that said, "Oh, good, an HOA." We all have trash cans, but the sight of them offends the delicate eyes of some, so I complied with the new rule of no seeing bins from the street. I find a notice of my bins being out, which is surprising because I'm the only one who touches the cans and I know I'm 100% compliant. I call in and ask why I got the notice. The full description says, "Bins in driveway with lids off." I asked if this happened to be a Tuesday, and sure enough it was. Wednesday is pickup, and I was doing my weekly cleaning. I was fracking using them, I calmly explained through gritted teeth. "Oh, okay, I'll remove the notice." Great, but how do I prevent this from happening again? "Oh, I guess, notify us." "All right," I said. "I'll notify you every time I'm using my trash cans." "Oh, that won't be necessary." "Oh, clearly it is." That was 5 Tuesdays ago. Today, I once again called promptly at 10 o'clock and let Alan know I was about to use my trash cans. "You know what, Mr. Enderman? I'm just going to put a hold on any trash can notices for you." Hey, that would be swell, Alan. That would be swell. They set up the rules. You're following them. You don't want to get dinged, and you don't want them just using this as any excuse just to send you these notices. I think they might be the target of some kind of malicious intent from the HOA from now on, but he was completely in the right. Again, document everything. Document the rules. Know what you need to do. Document everything that you did to comply with it.
Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.